Risk. It's a word we hear every day in safety, but most people never truly understand how it works. And that's exactly why workplaces continue to face incidents that could have been prevented. So before we dive into the world of risk control standards, let me start with a simple question. If you had to choose between reacting to hazards or controlling them before they harm someone, which one would you pick? Most people say control, but very few actually know how to do it correctly. That's where RCS comes in. Welcome to Workplace HSE Explained. In this 4-part series, we're breaking down risk control standards in a way even a complete beginner can understand. No jargon, no complicated frameworks, just clear, practical safety knowledge that every worker, supervisor, and safety professional should know. So let's begin with the basics. What exactly are risk control standards? Think of them as the rules of the game for controlling hazards. They tell you what level of control is acceptable, what actions must be taken, and how strong your safety measures need to be to reduce risk to an acceptable level. RCS is not just a document or a checklist. It's a structured approach that ensures hazards are controlled consistently across an organization. Imagine a workplace without standards. Every supervisor would make decisions based on personal judgment. One might allow a shortcut, another might enforce strict controls, and someone else might ignore the hazard completely. That inconsistency is dangerous. RCS eliminates guesswork by defining clear expectations. In simple terms, risk control standards answer 3 questions. What is the hazard? What controls are required? And how strong must those controls be? When these 3 are aligned, risk becomes manageable. When they're not, incidents happen. In Part 1, we'll explore why RCS exists and why it's becoming essential in modern safety systems. In Part 2, we'll break down the structure of RCS. Part 3 will cover how to apply RCS in real workplaces. And Part 4 will bring everything together with advanced insights and the final conclusion. Now that you understand why risk control standards matter, let's break down how they are structured. Every RCS, regardless of industry, follows a simple logic: identify the hazard, define the minimum controls, and specify verification requirements. This structure ensures that risk control is not left to interpretation. The first component is hazard identification. This is where you clearly define what could cause harm. It might be machinery movement, chemical exposure, working at height, confined spaces, or even ergonomic strain. The key is clarity. A vague hazard leads to vague controls. A precise hazard leads to precise controls. The second component is control requirements. This is the heart of RCS. Controls are usually aligned with the hierarchy of controls: elimination, substitution, engineering controls, administrative controls, and PPE. But RCS goes further. It doesn't just list controls. It specifies which controls are mandatory. For example, an RCS for machine guarding may state that physical guards are non-negotiable and administrative controls alone are not acceptable. The third component is performance criteria. This defines how strong or effective the control must be. For example, an RCS for chemical storage may specify ventilation rates, container types, or segregation distances. Without performance criteria, controls may exist but fail to protect workers. The fourth component is verification. This ensures controls are actually implemented and maintained. Verification may include inspections, audits, permits, or monitoring systems. RCS is not just about writing controls, it's about ensuring they work every day. The final component is consequences for non-compliance. This is often overlooked, but it's essential. If a mandatory control is ignored, the risk increases. RCS defines what actions must be taken when standards are not followed. By understanding these components, you can see how RCS creates consistency. It transforms safety from opinion-based decisions into structured, evidence-based control. In Part 3, we'll explore how RCS is applied in real workplaces and how it changes the way people work. Now let's move from theory to practice. How do risk control standards actually work in real workplaces? The answer lies in application. RCS becomes powerful only when it influences daily decisions, behaviors, and processes. The first step in applying RCS is communication. Workers must know what the standard requires. If a standard says machine guards must never be removed, every operator must understand that clearly. If a standard says a permit is mandatory before entering a confined space, supervisors must enforce it without exception. RCS is effective only when everyone knows the rules. The second step is integration. RCS must be built into procedures, training, and workflows. For example, if an RCS requires lockout-tagout before maintenance, the procedure must reflect it, the training must teach it, and the workflow must enforce it. Integration ensures that controls are not optional. The third step is leadership commitment. Leaders must model compliance. If supervisors ignore standards, workers will follow. If leaders enforce standards consistently, workers adopt them naturally. RCS thrives in a culture where safety rules are respected. The fourth step is monitoring. Controls must be checked regularly. If an RCS requires daily inspection of fall protection equipment, that inspection must happen. Monitoring ensures controls remain effective over time. The fifth step is continuous improvement. RCS is not static. As new hazards emerge or technology evolves, standards must be updated. This keeps the system relevant and effective. When applied correctly, RCS reduces incidents, improves consistency, and builds a strong safety culture. In Part 4, we'll bring everything together with advanced insights and the final conclusion. We've explored what risk control standards are, how they're structured, and how they're applied. Now let's bring everything together and look at how RCS shapes the future of workplace safety. The first advanced insight is scalability. RCS works in small workshops and large multinational companies alike. Because it is structured, it adapts easily. Whether you're controlling risks for a single machine or an entire plant, RCS provides clarity. The second insight is accountability. RCS makes responsibilities clear. When a standard defines mandatory controls, everyone knows what must be done. This reduces confusion and strengthens compliance. The third insight is reliability. RCS ensures that controls are not just present, but effective. It eliminates weak controls and reinforces strong ones. This reliability is what prevents incidents. The fourth insight is cultural impact. When workers see consistent controls, they trust the system. When supervisors enforce standards fairly, workers follow them willingly. RCS builds a culture where safety becomes a shared responsibility. The fifth insight is future readiness. As industries evolve, hazards change. RCS provides a framework that can grow with new technologies, new processes, and new risks. It keeps workplaces prepared for the future. And now, the final message of this series. Risk control standards are not just documents. They are the backbone of modern safety. They bring structure, consistency, and clarity to hazard control. They protect workers, guide supervisors, and strengthen organizations. Thank you for watching Workplace HSE Explained. If you found this series valuable, stay tuned for more deep dive safety content designed to make workplaces safer, smarter, and stronger.